Hey, welcome in Huntsville. Another wonderful good morning to you. Thanks for waking up with us. What do you love about Huntsville? What makes this a great place to be?
Everyone here is very genuine and very kind and friendly. You never hesitate to speak up and say hello or good morning or just acknowledge the person walking by.
The thing that I love most about Huntsville, I love the peace that Huntsville brings. I love the peace that it gives me.
I feel accepted and part of the town and like I belong here.
Huntsville is where my lovely wife lived when I met her, so I moved here. So I'm pretty thankful for her.
All right.
We're bucking for you in Huntsville, Texas.
Hello, I'm Billy Cobbin with Sam Houston Memorial Funeral Home.
Hey, it's Kay Boning with Tomorrow's Promise Montessori Schools.
Good morning, Huntsville.
Good morning.
Hey, I'm Karen.
I'm Toy. And I'm Denise.
And from all of us at Walker County Federal Credit Union, good morning, Huntsville.
Karen, do you want to be the official welcome in greeter? Oh, wait,
Huntsville, Monday morning.
You ready? Hold on, here we go. I had you going. Ready? On the count of three. You ready? 1, 2, 3.
Welcome to Monday morning. Another non-mimosa Monday here at Hello Huntsville.
That was a great greet. That was a nice, pleasant greeting. Thank you, Karen. Thank you. I get special parking now.
Yeah, I was wondering what that was for.
Yeah, Pastor Jason came in here on Thursday and he goes, "Here, put this in your rear view mirror or whatever it's called." So I said, "All right, it's a little clergy tag there. We can get these on Amazon."
Whatever it takes to get a closer spot, right?
Yeah. Do you want some? I can get you. You know what? I can get you a little, so it won't be illegal because I don't. You know, I respect folks that need to have handicap parking or whatever. But I'll get one that just has like a little handicap sign, but it'll say under it, not official, not official. Okay. And that way, you know, if something happens, you can be like, well, it says not official. Mm-hmm. And then that may, you'll probably get in trouble. Okay.
Yeah, probably.
You know, I got a funny story about that. I was thinking of my dad this week. I sure miss my dad. And I was thinking about him this weekend. And, you know, as you drive, I went to San Angelo on Friday. And we're really blessed. I wanted to say thank you to this community. I had a privilege to go, Karen, and meet with 3 families in San Angelo. We had been raising funds from the donation drive that we had. We went a few weeks ago and took out, because you know all that area flooded too. Mm-hmm. And we had an opportunity to go back, and and we received a ton of gift cards. Our Walker County Referral Cooperative Group had donated something like $400 or $500 worth of Home Depot gift cards, which was awesome. And I appreciate those guys doing that. And then many others. There was not the Huntsville Hornets softball team, but there's a Huntsville softball league. Mm-hmm. And the husband and wife that run that, they came by with hundreds of dollars of HEB gift cards.
Nice.
But we couldn't. I was trying to figure out the best way to distribute those. I didn't want to just go in and hand them to somebody. And I'm not saying that people aren't honest, because they were trustworthy people that we met. But I just really felt in my heart that we needed to build a relationship with some families directly. And so when we went that first time about 3 weeks ago, we met a gentleman named Ernesto Corpus. He was our contact there. He started connecting us to people left and right. Ernesto is the vice president of a prison ministry there in San Angelo. He served some time and, got out. And now he's doing good things, helping people through situations that he had been through. And he connected us to a lady named Maria Mejia, or Mejia is how you pronounce her last name. And Maria is the executive director of an organization, a ministry called the Concho Valley Turning Point. And they have become a main hub for distributing items to folks in need. They have a warehouse. Someone blessed them with the building, and that thing was loaded with stuff. So long story short, went on Friday. We had gathered, Karen, and when I say we, I don't mean me. I mean we as a church here at First Baptist, as a community, just even folks, a vast majority of folks outside of the church here. We raised over $4,800 in cash and gift cards. And we met those 3 families, dispersed of it, and actually ended up being 4 because there was another family when we got there that we found out needed some help. And so we split it 3 ways, and then we had about $400 left over for this other family. So 4 families were blessed this Friday, and there was two of them were sisters named Hope and Faith Lovelace. And Faith has a little boy named Easton. And she's a single mom, and they live with their family, and their house had suffered some damage, water damage, their property, a bunch of stuff got destroyed. And these are folks that were helping everybody else. And, when you're in the middle of helping everyone else, you don't want to accept help. You don't ask for it.
That's correct.
And Ernesto and some other folks were saying these people need help, but they're very humble, and they're not going to ask for it. And so I got on the phone and I told Maria I told her we were going to help her because we needed to have some sort of contact over there outside of Ernesto. And Maria said, no. I said, no, you're not going to say no for an answer. Too bad. And so, but I said, but we also want to help out these 2 other families, and you know who they are. And then, so we surprised them, and they were so thankful. And they wanted, the reason I mentioned all this, 1, for transparency, to know that all of your donations went to help some great folks there in San Angelo. But 2, because they wanted me to let everybody know how much that they appreciate this community. And I read it on Sunday, but I wanted to read it here before we do our official non-mimosa greeting this morning. We'll tell you, that's a fun story. But Maria sent me this text, and I read it on Sunday to our congregation here, but I want to read it to you all. This was yesterday. She said, "Good morning. I pray you made it home safe." She said, "I want to thank you and your community from the bottom of our hearts for everything that y'all have done for not only San Angelo, but for me and my family as well. I was able to get socks, underclothes, and T-shirts and much-needed items for my brother and myself as well. We pray blessings over each and every one of you that have planted in the seed of recovery from the flood and for our family." And that was from Maria. And just a wonderful lady. This lady, I talked to her on the phone, and we all shared a meal after I went down there. I ended up staying the night Friday, Karen. We shared a meal, and boy, there's so much joy with these folks, in the midst of adversity, and just so appreciative. And this is exactly why we wanted to adopt these families, so we could build relationship with them. And then already we're seeing the fruit of that, because there's someone that I've gotten to know over the past couple of weeks that needs a little help. And Ernesto has experienced the same thing that this person has experienced. It's someone here in our community. And Ernesto's already been able to give me a little feedback. And he said, "Hey, if you want me to help you help this person, let me know." And that's it. That's the fruit of it, right? If we would have just went, and there's nothing wrong with just giving $20, $30 and it goes into a big pot, because that's going to help out too. There's some great organizations there, but you're never going to get to meet people. You're just going to drive up and, hey, here's a check, and then leave. There's nothing wrong with that. But now we're able to build relationship with these families, and I'm really excited to partner with them and help them, and it's kind of cool, because I feel like through this initiative in our community, I feel like San Angelo's became like a sister city to Huntsville now, in a way.
Yeah.
So, but they can have their 150,000 population. We're okay with 40 here right now.
Exactly.
So I didn't realize San Angelo was that big either.
I didn't realize it was that big.
No, I drove through there and I was like, man, this is crazy how big this town was. I knew Angelo State University is there, which is a D2 program, but they run that thing like a D1 powerhouse. It's crazy how big that is. But it is kind of neat. Does Huntsville have like an official designated sister city or anything like that? No.
No.
All right. Well, I'll get on the phone with Mayor Humphrey. We'll get something rolling. Hey, speaking of which, too, Karen, and then we'll do our official greeting. Saw a message from Mayor.
About the mayor's ball.
Mayor's ball is coming up again, and I screenshotted it.
Yes,
so you want to read the details of that? I'll get it there for. I know you know it's coming up too. So
it's at the Vintage downtown, September the 25th at 7:00. Tickets are $55 a person. And last year, he gave to 3 different nonprofits in our area. And I don't know if they'll be the same 3 this year, or if he's doing a different 3. But anyway, it's for a great cause, and it's a good time. And come out and support Mayor Humphrey.
Yeah. Did you get a chance to go last year?
Yes, I went.
Yeah, I didn't. We had tickets, but we didn't get to go. I wanted to support that because I knew the money was going. But that's pretty cool. I like that. Like the mayor's ball. So come out and be a part. I know Russell
It's
joins.
fun to get dressed up and, yeah.
Yeah, I see.
Go hang out.
Do you have to wear a tuxedo, or can you just wear a nice suit?
You can wear a suit.
But it's probably preferable tuxedo,
You can wear a suit. That's just good.
What's the equivalent? This is me being ignorant. What's the equivalent for a woman for a man's tuxedo? What would it be? Just a really nice
long gown, ball gown.
So a ball gown. Okay, that's the word I was looking for. So so a tuxedo for a man is a ball gown to a woman. Did you wear a ball gown?
I did.
Did you?
I did.
Do you have one?
Yes, I have several.
Wow. All right. So I wish that they could retrofit wedding dresses into something more useful after the marriage because
because they're expensive.
Man, it's just sitting in the closet.
Hopefully you just wear it one time.
Yeah,
but you never know.
Told Bridget, I was like, "Is there something that we can like alter this thing or something and reuse it for something else?" I guess that's a big deal, So it's pretty cool. Well, hey, we do want to welcome you in as we get rolling. Happy August! I know we already celebrated one day in August on the show. That was on Friday, but here we go with the first Monday of August. We want to welcome you in as we get rolling episode 63. Big thank you to Elliot Herzlich. Elliot and I are going to get together this week, and finally, we've had so much going on. I have had so much going on that we haven't even had a chance to talk much about the Rays of Hope campaign that we had way back in June. And so Elliot and I are getting together this week, and we're going to go meet with some nonprofits that we raise some funds for. So, again, appreciate Elliot Herzlich from Elliot's Jewelers. He's online at elliotsjewelers.com. And also, of course, we could not be here on this
Non-Mimosa Monday
without our friend Karen Denman and Walker County Federal Credit Union. They are your full-service community credit union serving Walker County since Hines 1957, back in the day. And still rocking and rolling, doing great things. And only one location, and that's all they need because they have all the services that you need, and they don't have all that additional expense. We've mentioned on the show before, Karen, when you have property and you have multiple locations. Well, multiple locations equals more staff, which equals more things that have to be paid, more expense.
Exactly.
I'm amazed at how efficiently y'all run that place with the staff and I don't mean it like in a rude way. Just you don't have to have a huge staff. I know you guys got quite a few people that are there, but it's not like you've got 50 or 100 people working there.
This is true.
And y'all run that place like clockwork, and that's the service that you're going to get at Walker County Federal Credit Union. Because of all that, and I say all this, they don't have a bunch of huge fees and expenses and all that stuff that they have to pass down to you.
And you can do everything electronically if you're not, local or you can't leave your office or whatever. So we try to make it as convenient as we can.
I think even the loan apps, you can kind of start that process online.
Yep.
And then you'll be the one usually to reach out and say, hey, I got it. And and there you go. So
that's it.
So go by and see Karen. They will take care of you. It's Walker County Federal Credit Union. They've been with us. We're talking 561 episodes. Y'all been with us since almost day one. And, man, it's crazy to think about. You fast forward nearly 3 years and just how fast time goes.
It does go by fast.
Summer's almost over, Karen.
Yes, it is.
And did you know that next week school is back in session? How is that possible?
I know. We were talking about that the other day. Back in my day, we didn't start school until right after Labor Day or right before. And now it's like second week in August, they're back. So,
yeah, we're doing, we partner up. It's really neat. A lot of the churches here in this community partner up. They've adopted schools. So different churches adopted different schools. We adopted Samuel Walker Houston Elementary a few years ago. And so what that means is we go over there and help the school basically with whatever needs they may have. And the biggest need that we always go is once a week we go and to the cafeteria there on Wednesdays, and help the children open. I'd never thought about helping children open milk cartons, how big of a deal that is. But we go over there and help them open their milks and just sit down and talk to them. And it's really neat. I've developed some friends over there with some of the teachers and gotten to know that school real well. Well, one thing that we do is the Sunday before school starts, and this is not just for our church, but we want to invite the entire community. If you would like to come at 7 o'clock next Sunday, or this coming up Sunday evening, 7 p.m., just meet over at the front of the school, and we always pray over the school that first Sunday, and then the Wednesday as school starts. But this part, I think you have to make sure that you're registered as a volunteer through the school district, which we already done that online. But then the next, the Wednesday that school starts, we'll go over there at 7 a.m. and greet the kiddos as they come in. So it's kind of a fun thing.
Yeah.
And we've got one little boy that goes to church here that goes to school over there, and he's a handful. His name's Noah, and he came up to me yesterday morning. He goes, "So Mr. Rob," I said, "What, buddy?" He's like, "Check out my muscles, man." And I was like, "Dude, you're stronger than me, buddy." So he's been opening his milk for a long time, Karen. He don't need no help opening up his milk.
He can help the rest of the kids.
So yeah, there's a lot going. So I say that because be mindful coming up next week for buses. They're already out practicing their routes. So be careful.
Leave
of
a
that.
little early. Mm-hmm.
And make room for the buses.
Yep.
One other thing before we have Mr. Bob on, the Smither Bridge has opened. Have you had a chance to drive across it yet?
I have not. Purposely, I have not been on that side of town.
I joke about this because I'm positive, Karen. I posted a picture, and I said, I think it's the traffic's worse since it's reopened. And the reason that it was like that, though, in all honesty, is the U-turn bridges are not completed yet. They're going to have those U-turns. Once that opens up, it's really going to help with the traffic flow. But yeah, I was on the access road, and I mean it was backed up way past kind of where I don't want to say Walmart because that's pretty far, but it was probably like Whataburger maybe, that entrance.
It gets really backed up there for people trying to go left.
It took about 10 minutes to get across, and a lot of that again is because the U-turn isn't open yet, and they still have that access road kind of narrow. But once they get all that done, it's going to be really cool. And here's the fun thing, Karen. You get to be involved with a lot. With your opportunity on council. So once this is all done, y'all probably start having to plan for the next thing, right?
Absolutely.
Do y'all get a chance? Do y'all work like side by side with TxDOT on some of these things? I mean, do they come in and present stuff? Do you ever see that with roads, or is that
I'm sure they do. Yeah, I talk to the manager and the city manager
about all that construction?
Because that's TxDOT, not the city. So
yeah, they control all that kind of stuff. Well, it's great. There's a lot of really good things happening, and I know that it can be a headache, but realize the bigger picture. And at the end of it, it does make things a lot better for a lot of folks. And there's great minds that are thinking about this stuff. It's not that somebody says, "Oh, we need to do this," and they just rush through it. I mean, these are 10, 15, a lot of the projects,
takes a long time.
Some projects were thought of 20 years ago that we're starting to see happen now. So just be mindful and don't jump to conclusions. And what I say is don't jump to social media conclusions and think, well, why is this like this? And why didn't they think about it? They're thinking. And there's a lot of good folks in our community and a lot of people that serve, just like Karen, that are serving to help out Huntsville and do what they think's best as they represent people. And you guys do a great job of that, Karen.
Thank you.
So,
thank you.
Working at the bank, serving a community. I don't want to say bank, credit union. You're doing just about everything. So
pretty much. Feels like it anyway.
Yeah. Well, one other question I have to ask because it is Monday. This weekend, I was in San Angelo. Did it rain here? Did it keep you out of the pool? Was there a pool going on this weekend?
Oh, absolutely. Yes, Saturday and Sunday. It was overcast on Saturday, but yesterday was beautiful.
Those overcast days, are those sunscreen days still?
Yeah. I mean, people say you get more sun in the overcast than you do from the direct sun. I don't know, but
we've only made it to the beach once this year. We go to the El Jardín beach outside of Pasadena, Texas. Am I saying that? Is that right? Is that where the port is? I think it's in, Pasadena. There's a little town there, Seabrook, Texas, where we go. A little hidden beach over there. And we go there. And I brought a canopy this year. We did it right at the beginning of summer. Brought a canopy, and I still got sunburn under that canopy. I was like, you got to be kidding me. I thought I was in the shade.
Yeah, you get burned closer to the water.
Yeah, and I'm not a huge fan of the sunscreen. Not that I advise again. I mean, of course, I want to protect myself, but I just hate that. I don't like
Greasy.
Yeah, I'm not a big like lotion fan. Braylon came in the other day and she got in the bathroom, got into Bridget's lotion, and it was all over her. Oh, she's like, look, Daddy, lotion. Said, get that away from me. I just get lotion and balloons are two things that drive me nuts. Yeah. Mr. Bob said lotionophobia. That's it.
Yep.
And balloons. And, you know, is there things that, Karen, for you that just like you get super angry about and it's like something dumb that you get angry about that you can think of?
Oh, I'm sure there are. Yeah, I mean, I can't think of anything immediately, but.
So I'm going to reveal something here because I like to give away secrets about my life. I get super angry around balloons. I don't like balloons. I can't stand them. I don't like that screechy noise. And I will literally discipline my children if they, and by discipline, I mean go to timeout if you don't get that thing away from me. Mm-hmm. And Bridget's like, just leave them alone. They're balloons. I'm like, no, you don't understand. I've had this thing against balloons since I was like 5 years old. I cannot stand that screechy noise. And I just,
and when they pop, it scares you.
Yeah, and I like to pop them when I see them. I mean, Bridget forgot about my hatred of balloons, and she blew up like 6 or 7 of them a while back, and they were all over the house. And so she's like, I'm sorry, I forgot that you can't stand these things. The kids loved it, so I had to like go in the other room, let them play with the balloons. Well, then when they snuck into another room, Daddy was a mean daddy, and I put them all outside.
It popped.
Yeah. And grass. St. Augustine grass will pop balloons very easily.
Yes, it will.
I didn't realize that. Mm-hmm. So the backyard had a nice balloon popping going on. All right. Well, hey, let us know something during the break. Comment in. Let us know things that make you angry that don't make any sense, like me and balloons. I want to hear from you. Mr. Bob is here with us. He works with veterans here in Walker County. Got some updates for us. Does a tremendous job. And we will have him on when we come back. Do us a favor, like and share this broadcast as we continue promoting and celebrating the good here in Huntsville. And as always, these Mondays are brought to you by Walker County Federal Credit Union. Again, your full-service community credit union. They've been here for many decades, and they're ready to serve you. Go by and see them on Normal Park. We'll be back in a moment. Stay with us. This is your show. It is Good Morning Huntsville.
Hey, I'm Denise Olivas, Business Account Specialist at Walker County Federal Credit Union, and our business is helping you take care of your business. In addition to personal accounts, Walker County Federal Credit Union also offers business accounts and business lending for commercial customers. We're devoted to taking care of the needs of our individual members and helping our business members with their financial success too. Call us today and find out how easy it is to work with Walker County Federal Credit Union. Member NCUA.
Since 2010, the Oak Ridge Disciple House has helped men break free from addiction, not with quick fixes, but lasting change through Jesus Christ. They've celebrated 167 graduates at Oak Ridge and 138 more at Interfaith with an 80% success rate. That's compared to just 5% in most secular programs. The fact is, Jesus works. And now, celebrating 15 years, they're building their third house in Tennessee and just launched a women's program, Restoration Ranch in Texas. It's all for God's glory. And here's the heart of it. They never turn anyone away for lack of money. In fact, 95% of families receive scholarships. As one person put it, don't talk about it, be about it. Every penny counts. Donate today at oakridgedisciplehouse.com and help change a life forever. The Oak Ridge Disciple House. Online at oakridgedisciplehouse.com. Real recovery, real hope.
At Tomorrow's Promise Montessori Schools, we're not just a place where children pass the time. We're not a daycare. We're a child care center focused on growth, learning, and discovery. Every day, children engage in meaningful activities that build confidence, independence, and a love for learning. From reading and math to social and practical life skills, our students are active participants in their development. Ready to give your child something more? Visit tomorrowspromise.info and discover what makes our school different. Tomorrow's Promise Montessori Schools. Education you can trust.
The church should be transformational. And maybe you've never been to church, or maybe life has left you feeling lost, but Jesus says, "Come to me, all you who labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest." At First Baptist Church, Huntsville, a harbor of hope, we're not trying to fit in with the world. We're here to help you step into something greater, a fresh start, a new life in Christ. Join us this Sunday at 10:45 and see what God can do in your life. Visit fbchuntsville.org. Hope is here, and we're saving a seat just for you.
Loving Jesus, loving people side by side. In this harbor of hope, we are safe inside.
This is KHSP LP, Huntsville, Texas, the spirit of Huntsville. Support for SpiritRadio.fm comes from loyal listeners just like you. Want to help spread the good news across Huntsville and beyond? Underwriting opportunities are available for loyal listeners, businesses, and nonprofits. Visit SpiritRadio.fm and tap Donate today.
This is Kay Boning with Tomorrow's Promise Montessori Schools, and you're listening to Spirit Radio.
The spirit of Huntsville, SpiritRadio.fm.
All right, friends, welcome back as we continue on here this very first Monday of August 2025. It's August the 4th. 8:01 is the time. If you were supposed to be at work at 8 o'clock, you probably are not going to have a job. So make sure you get there. If you're supposed to be there at 8, bring breakfast tacos. That'll get you out of trouble. Speaking of which, there's a couple new restaurants opening up in town. There's one in the same shopping center as Rodeo that I saw a sign for. I forgot the name of it, but I saw that yesterday. Said that they're going to be opening soon. And then El Pescador, where Sanders Kitchen used to be, next to the bus station, just right here on 12th Street, around the corner from our studios, that should be opening soon. There's a new little night outing place opened up. George and the folks involved, I think. I don't know if George is involved with that, but the folks at the Jolly Fox are. It's called Fox and Barrel. I've heard that place is a hopping place. That just opened up. And so a lot happening here in Huntsville. Hey, as you're waking up, 79 degrees, under 90% humidity, a 30% chance of storms today. We'll only get up to 91, so a little bit of a cool down. And then tonight, partly cloudy, 73. Showers remain in the forecast tomorrow, 94. And the rest of the week looks pretty good, but just in time for the weekend, as it's been so often, a little bit of rain back in the forecast, but we'll take it. Well, hey, this community, we just love and are so supportive of our veterans, and it is a huge deal here in Walker County and in Huntsville. Tara Burnett does a great job with the Hearts Veterans Museum, our friends at the VFW, the Legion, all sorts of folks that are very involved in making sure that our veterans are getting care and taken care of. And one person that's really making strides in that area that we're excited to bring back on this morning is our good friend, Mr. Bob Kane. Bob, good to see you this morning, my friend.
Morning, Rob.
How you doing?
Doing good, doing good.
We've had the opportunity to cross paths a few times, and I know you're recovering from recent surgery. How's the recovery going?
Doing well, doing well. Matter of fact, I'm now walking up to 4 miles.
Wow. Is that daily?
Just hit my 4 mile yesterday.
Man, I'm sitting over here and I'm like, I got my work cut out for me. Where do you go walking at? Maybe I need to join you, man.
Well, with the heat yesterday, I did it mainly right in the house.
There you go. Yeah. Well, Bob, I appreciate you. You're involved with the county assisting veterans. You have been such an advocate for our veterans here in this community. I know you and I have talked a little bit and wanted to have you back on the show to talk about some grants that you've been working on, and praise the Lord, those grants have went through, and these veterans, even more, are going to get more support. But let us know just a little bit about what you've been up to, and then we'll talk about those grants and what they mean for the veterans.
Okay. Well,
and if you don't mind on the microphone, just hold it a little bit. Yeah, there you go. Perfect.
What I've been up to basically is helping veterans and surviving spouses get their benefits through the VA, myself included. And then I turn around and work on getting grants or other programs that we can use here in the county to help our veterans and surviving spouses. Right. Recently, I put in for 2 grants with the Texas Veterans Commission, it's Funds for Veterans Assistance program, and I put in for those grants back in November. I had to sit down and do a presentation with the commission in March 5th as I was recovering from my hip replacement. And we just got word in the end of June that we were awarded 2 grants that I put in for. First one is Housing for Texas Veterans to help up to 5 low-income veterans here in Walker County with repairs or modifications or weatherization of their homes, right? What they mean by low income, it's low income based upon HUD's listing for income here in Walker County, right? And right now, from what I saw, it is 30,000 is considered low income. You know, so.
Yeah, I remember, years ago, 30,000. If you were making that, boy, you were sitting Jake, as my dad used to say. And we live in a different time. This is so important. These 2 grants are going to help out so many veterans. You had mentioned just the number of veterans that these are going to help out, Bob, a little bit earlier.
Yes, and then the other grant was to help out 120 veterans here in the county with payment on rent, mortgages, utilities, groceries, things like that. Basic everyday needs, that a veteran may not be able to afford, Okay.
Well, Bob, you've been so involved. I want to call you Mr. Kane, but, you told me a long time ago, just call me Bob.
Yes.
When my dad had raised me to always say Mr. and Mrs., so when especially, when I'm sitting next to a veteran and I say your name, I feel like I'm swearing, but you gave me permission. And my dad always said, as long as they give you permission, you can. Yes. And at 41, I'll be 81 and I'll still be doing this, if the Lord gives me that much time. But Bob, I think it's incredible what you do as a veteran service officer here for Walker County. When did you identify, how do you kind of go through this process? Because I'm sure veterans come to you with needs, and so then your gears start ticking of saying, I've got to get out and find resources. Maybe kind of talk about how the idea and the knowledge to search for this grant came about back in November.
Well, actually, it started years ago, looking at the way they do the grants and all that. I had to look at the process, number of veterans here in the county. Then I was awarded the county was awarded through Southeastern Texas Housing Authority a grant for $50,000, which they were able to break up with different programs, and they awarded me $15,000 to help the veterans at that time. And so I was able to help about 20 families. The recent one was a family whose well went down on them. The bladder had burst, and the pump was destroyed from the bladder bursting. So I was able to provide half of the funds for that, along with donations from the Combat Veterans Motorcycle Club and the VFW, to pay that entire bill for that family.
Boy, that's great. Well, Bob, these folks, there's a lot of folks that have needs, and you have such a heart for what you do. It's a passion, and this isn't a part-time or a side hustle for you. This is it. This is what you do.
Yes.
Maybe kind of talk a little bit more. I know you've been on the show before, and a lot of folks here in Huntsville know you, but there's a lot of new people moving here.
Yes.
Maybe highlight a little bit more about exactly what you do. I know folks have a general idea, but how you advocate for veterans, and maybe if somebody's watching this morning saying, we have things going on, how can we become someone that could benefit from a grant like this?
Okay. Well, what I do mainly is the VA claims. I advocate for the veteran to get their health disabilities, get them enrolled into VA Health if they need to be enrolled in VA Health. Surviving spouses, I help them get their benefits. There's 2 different ways we can go about that. One is called dependent indemnity compensation, where if the veteran passed away due to his service-connected disability, and then we can go for that. If it was not that cause, then we go after a pension, where the VA turns around, they say you got to have so much, limited with property and assets, and we look at that, and if they are making too much, we can't get much for them. We also have to look at when did the veteran serve. Right? If the veteran served during peacetime, then the VA will not provide any support for the surviving spouse. I just had one that I had to turn around and let her know I'm sorry, but the VA says this. and her husband served during what we called peacetime, between the Korean War and Vietnam War. And right now we're in another peacetime. I served basically from '72 during Vietnam. I did not wind up in Vietnam, but I served all the way up through Desert Storm, where I was in Desert Storm. But the period between those two wars were called peacetime, even though we were in what we call the Cold War. So we have to look at all of that as we go through this process. The other thing I do is a veteran or family member, wants to be buried down at the National Cemetery. Now the veteran, if they're honorable discharge, we have no problem getting the pre-eligibility done for that. If they're other than honorable, there's some other things that may have to be done, to get that done. Then we turn around, the surviving spouse can turn around. Once the veteran is interred at the National Cemetery, the spouse is also allowed to be interred in the cemetery along with their veteran spouse. My wife was a veteran. She's already interred down there, so my pre-eligibility is already taken care of.
That's great, yes. Well, Mr. Bob, again, I said this earlier, and I know you're a very humble man, but the work that you do for veterans here in Walker County is so tremendous, and I know you don't do it for the credit.
No.
But I'm going to say that you don't get enough credit because you are working so hard for these families. This isn't just like I said, a 40-hour thing for you. You're on the phone with folks day and night. People are reaching out, and your job is only going to get more and more busy as this county continues to grow.
Yes.
My question for you is, does every county have a VSO, a Veteran Service Officer, or is this something pretty unique to Walker County?
No, just about every county has a Veteran Service Officer. As you get into the more rural areas, like West Texas, they may not be a VSO for each county. You may have one VSO for 5 counties, depending on the population. VSOs are basically appointed by the Commissioner's Court, and it's based on the population and the need. Right? Normally, they want to have about 200. Want to have about 200 veterans in a very large population. Like you go down to Houston, Texas Veterans Commission has literally one VSO, but he or she may have about 15 assistant VSOs spread throughout Harris County to help the veterans in that area.
There is no assistant VSO here in Walker, though.
Not
right?
yet.
Not yet. It's coming.
I'm working on that.
Yeah, I remember you and I were talking about that. How did the opportunity come about for you? How long have you been doing it, and when did the opportunity come about?
Actually, the opportunity came about back in August 21. I was trying to get my VA benefits and could not get in touch with our VSO at that time. So I went ahead and I approached the Commissioner's Court. And they turned around and they said they would investigate. Well, that October, the gentleman retired. And so then they opened it up, and you had to go through the same job application and all like everybody else going to work for the county. And I was interviewed by Judge Pierce at that time.
I remember, yes, sir.
And he interviewed myself, a female veteran from Desert Storm from the Army, and then an Air Force veteran from Afghanistan War. And after all was said and done, he made the decision that I would be the VSO. So he had me present to Commissioner's Court on the 6th of December, and they turned around and unanimously said yes. And from there, I started on December the 7th and went through a 4-month online training program to get my accreditation with the VA.
Wow.
And so I had to maintain the accreditation by going through 12 hours of continuing education each year. So I do that either in there's 2 ways we can do that. My region, which is Houston, will have a 3-day training course down at the regional office. The other way we do that is we have an annual conference. Last year it was this past year it was up in Denton. At can't remember the university up there, but turn around and they held a 3-day program up there also.
So after the first month, you looked back and said, "What did I get into?" How many?
I saw a need. I saw a need.
Yes, sir.
And so that's why I went after the job.
How many I know it may be hard to kind of come up or to think about the number, but how many veterans do you think that you've had the privilege of serving since you've started?
I would say it's up in the thousands.
Wow.
I am seeing an average right now of 500 to 600 veterans a year.
Goodness. Yeah, that's a lot of work, Mr. Bob. Yeah, absolutely. Well, one other thing, you've served, and thank you for your service, and I know your late wonderful wife had the privilege to serve, and we're so thankful for those. My dad was in Vietnam there. He was on the USS Goldsboro. He's in the Navy. And, I got to know a little bit about what he had to endure and his service. My grandfather was at World War II. He was the second. I always thought he was the first wave because he said that only 8 people in his company survived. Well, it turns out that was false. He was the second wave. And even in the second wave, there was only 8 of them in that company that came out. And, because of that, I've always I grew up in the VFW. I mean, that's my favorite place to grow up. I'd come home and my mom would be like, "You've been with your daddy to the VFW." I said, "Well, how do you know?" "You smell like cigarette smoke." And I'll tell you what, if a veteran wants to have a cigarette, let them have a cigarette. They've earned that right, so go for it. But in all seriousness, I loved growing up at that VFW. I attribute a lot of my childhood years going there with my dad and listening to the stories that he and the other veterans would share. And it's where I learned to play dominoes and learned how to play pool at the VFW. And spent a lot of time there. But it's so important. And I mentioned all of these things because it's so important that we find ways to give back and help our veterans. And here you are, a gentleman who has served, still serving, and helping these veterans with benefits and resources. What has been the most fulfilling part of your job getting to do this, Bob?
When I get a veteran who had been trying to get benefits for years, and the next thing you know, they're getting 80, 100% disability. After I've gone through, I actually sit down with the veteran, go over their medical concerns, and then we look at, we go ahead and we put in the claim. My job as far as putting in the disability claim is to do everything I can to make that compensation and pension evaluation happen, right? Because that's where the VA will already see that there was some service connectivity. Now they're going to evaluate to see how far the disability has progressed.
One thing, I had this question too, because when my dad passed, and he had a very good advocate. I don't know if it was the VSO, whoever that would be in Williamson County, but he had somebody that he found that really helped him out tremendously. And it took years, but he found his Bob somewhere. He found his Mr. Bob somewhere. But my mom had a pretty tough time navigating after my father had passed away, trying to figure out would she still receive some benefit, because it was, that was a big chunk of their livelihood, obviously. My dad was 100% disabled. And I think she finally found something. She doesn't get the full benefit, but she at least gets something. So my question to you is, someone like my mother, they could reach out to a VSO, I would assume, right? Even though they didn't serve, their spouse did, right?
Yes. We're there to help not only the veteran, but also the surviving spouse when that veteran passes, right? My recent one was a Vietnam veteran. He passed away back in March. And his wife came to me, and we turned around and we did all the paperwork to get the DIC because he was 100% disabled. And he'd been 100% disabled for over 10 years. And the way the VA law has it is if a veteran has been 100% for 10 years or more, then the DIC automatically comes into play with the surviving spouse.
So do they continue to receive that full benefit?
No, they receive a portion of it. They like this spouse wound up with getting $1,637 a month.
Wow. Yeah, that's great.
Yes, which.
See, I think that's what happened with my mom is they were able to help her and receive, some of that benefit. And that's been a huge blessing to her because, obviously she needs it. And my dad worked hard, and he always said, I want to take care of your mother. And, he got disabled and got to a point where he couldn't walk anymore. They actually did a hip replacement surgery on him. You know all about this.
Oh, yes.
But unfortunately, his did not. His immediately didn't work, and he ended up getting a MRSA staph infection, which is pretty dangerous.
Yes.
And they said we're not. And they tried to put in some antibiotic, joint replace. There was something they put in there. It was like a permanent antibiotic that keeps putting out. It didn't work either. And so they finally said, well, they said, Mr. Hip, we're not going to be able to ever replace this. And so, unfortunately, that made him wheelchair bound, and he had what he called a floppy leg. So he'd get up, and he was stubborn. He tried to do everything on his own. So he'd get up in that bed, and he'd take that pant leg and throw that leg up on the bed. And he said, well, boy, I guess I'm finally getting older. You know, I can't do much anymore. But he goes, but I still got my floppy leg here. And but you know, he enjoyed as much as he could, and the VA and whoever was his advocate helped him to secure those benefits, because he couldn't get around like he used to anymore. And I say all this, Bob, because I think it's so important what you do. And I see you, and I think a lot about my dad, because my dad served, and then I think about the generous people that helped him get what he needed. And that's you here in this county, my friend. So if somebody's out there this morning and they may be saying, hey, I need help, how do they connect with you? What do they do?
Okay, I am in my office usually on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays from 8 a.m. till 4 p.m. My office number is 936-435-2474. All right. Also, I am listed under the county website. You just click on departments and look for Veteran Services, and up will come my page with my information, again, when I'm in the office, and my phone number and my email address.
Perfect. Well, Mr. Bob, we appreciate you. Any final thing you wanted to say again about these grants? I know two grants. Is there a specific name for them, or is it just called a grant? And
well, it's
I know
called,
two
it's
of them,
called
right?
Veterans Funds for Veterans Assistance. The first one is the Housing for Texas Veterans, and the other one is just financial assistance. Yeah.
And that's great. And do you already have folks, veterans, that are receiving all of these, or is there some left over?
No, well, these are reimbursable grants, so they just started. You know, matter of fact, I've got one more session to go through, a webinar on how to do the monthly reporting. You know, because all of this has to be reported back to the Texas Veterans Commission, along with statements, itemized statements, things like that, so we can turn around and get reimbursed for what the county is paying out.
Oh, great. Yes. Okay. Well, there he is, Mr. Bob Kane. Appreciate you, my friend. Thank you for all that you do and for being a voice for our veterans. They need it, and you are doing great work, my friend. And I know you're doing it because you have a heart to serve, and that's what it's all about. How long do you want to keep doing this for, Bob?
They say I could retire now, but I'm looking at least getting a staff, building up the office so that we can take care of more veterans. And once I'm sure that's in place and running smooth, then I'm looking at possibly retiring.
So that'll be about 110. Okay, gotcha. So we'll check back with you in a few decades, all right? So, all righty. Well, there he is, Mr. Bob Kane. I know this community appreciates you. We appreciate you. And anytime you want to come on the show and give us updates, please do. It's always a privilege and such a joy and honor to have you here.
Thank you.
All right, well, there he is, Mr. Bob Kane, Veteran Service Officer. You can go on, super easy to find it. Just go to Google and search for Walker County Veterans Service Officer. You'll see his name right there. I did it a while ago, popped right up. And make sure that you contact Mr. Kane for all the resources that you need. We wouldn't be able to highlight folks and the great work that people are doing in this county if it wasn't for friends like Walker County Federal Credit Union. They are our Monday Foundation sponsor, your full-service community credit union. And so when you're thinking about the next place that you'd like to open up a bank account, whether it's commercial, residential, maybe it's a loan, you're looking at getting a new car or recreational vehicle, Karen and the staff over at Walker County Federal can help you through all of it. We literally have all of our accounts over there. The only one that I don't have is my sports business account, and I'm moving that one over soon too. But we have everything else over there at Walker County Federal. Make sure you go by and see them. They're located right next to Sam Houston Memorial Funeral Home on Normal Park. We'll take a break. We'll be back in a moment. Karen rejoins us. Stay with us. More to come. It's your show. This is Good Morning Huntsville.
I'm Denise Olivas, Business Account Specialist at Walker County Federal Credit Union, and our business is helping you take care of your business. In addition to personal accounts, Walker County Federal Credit Union also offers business accounts and business lending for commercial customers. We're devoted to taking care of the needs of our individual members and helping our business members with their financial success too. Call us today and find out how easy it is to work with Walker County Federal Credit Union. Member NCUA.
Hi, I'm Billy Cawthon, manager of Sam Houston Memorial Funeral Home. We know times of loss are tough, and you need a place to feel comfortable and cared for. At Sam Houston Memorial Funeral Home, we pride ourselves on being with you during those really tough days. You can rest assured that we will be on your side and by your side every step of the way. Thank you for your trust. Sam Houston Memorial Funeral Home, supporting families every day, every step.
Hey friends, Rob Hipp, Media and Community Outreach Minister here at First Baptist Church, Huntsville. Let me ask you, when's the last time you felt real hope? Maybe it's been a while since you've been to church, or maybe you've never felt connected to a church at all. Well, friends, that's okay. Here at First Baptist, we're a harbor of hope, and we welcome everyone just as they are. We have programs throughout the week for all ages to come together, ask questions, grow in faith, and find the hope that only Jesus Christ can bring. Whether you're looking for a fresh start or a community to call home, we'd love for you to join us. Come experience something real. For more information, visit fbchuntsville.org. First Baptist Church Huntsville, a harbor of hope.
In this harbor of hope, we are safe inside.
Tomorrow's Promise Montessori schools believe in creating spaces where children can learn, grow, and use their imaginations. At any Tomorrow's Promise location, children enjoy the largest playgrounds in town. Tomorrow's Promise Montessori is a fun school where every child learns at their own pace, and mastery of a concept is expected before moving on to the next concept. At Tomorrow's Promise, every child is respected, loved, and nurtured for the unique individual that they are.
Tomorrow's Promise Academy on Veterans Memorial now open. Visit tomorrowspromise.info for more information. Education you can trust.
This is Billy Cawthon of Sam Houston Memorial Funeral Home, and you're listening to Spirit Radio, the spirit of Huntsville.
Braylon, say this is Spirit Radio.
This is Spirit Radio.
Spirit of Huntsville, Spirit of Huntsville, Spirit 94.3.
All right, my friends, as we continue on, thank you all for hanging out with us. I want to give a special shout out to a friend who said she was sleeping in this morning.
Yes.
But she ain't sleeping in.
She's up now because she's watching.
She's commenting on our show.
Yes.
We were gonna.
She spent the weekend this weekend, and we had a good time.
That is Miss Karen Denman's wonderful mother, Miss Joy Daly, joining us here on Good Morning Huntsville. So good morning to you, Miss Joy, and glad to have you in town. And we were going to pay you big bucks to come on the show this morning, but you know she couldn't make it.
To sleep.
So next time there's a $100 bill with your name on it. Just go pick it up at the credit union. They got plenty of them. Just go over there and see them. Hey, so Karen, today in history, it's a day that you're so thankful for.
Yes.
It was 1693. Who was the man?
Dom Perignon.
Don Perignon.
Invented champagne?
He
He
introduced it. Naturally, it was a cause for celebration.
Absolutely.
1693. Shortly afterwards, became known the Champagne Belch. That was official. And most had the same response. They said, "Put a cork in it." Wow, these are always so corny. Anyways, of course, when he introduced it, it had to be the most expensive kind you could get, right? Don't they still have that brand of stuff?
Yeah, it's very expensive.
Man, I wonder if it goes back to 1693, you know? When does wine get to a point to where it's too old? Is there a...
I don't drink wine, so I can't answer that. But I think the older, isn't it?
Yeah,
the
it's
older,
supposed to be
the
better.
Yeah.
So, I mean, at what age, though? I mean, what if you have like 50 what if you have wine from back in the Bible, back in the early Bible days?
Be pretty stout wine.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Jesus turned water to wine. What if they found some of that wine laying around somewhere?
Yep. I wouldn't be drinking it.
A couple of other things. On this date, 1830, this is kind of neat. The plans to build Chicago were laid out in 1830. You go back and think that really wasn't that long ago for a city that big. No kidding. It was late. It was planned that way. Here's the dad joke part of it, okay? That early draft was quite detailed, included a special crying section in the city for Cubs fans because, the Chicago Cubs never do much of nothing. So pretty neat. A couple of other things here. Some of these I didn't get a chance to skim through them. It was on this date, 1986, the USFL folded. That was the United States Football League. They were trying to rival with the NFL. They called it the, quote, other football league, and just could not get much going there. I remember as a child hearing about the USFL, but obviously I was only a couple of years old and never got to experience much of that. Today, I don't know what this means, International Clouded Leopard Day. So I guess if there's a leopard that's kind of clouded, it's International Clouded Leopard. Of course it's going to be this day. National Water Balloon Day, just because I was talking about balloons. International Beer Day today.
Okay.
By the way, it should be like I would think that it would be like International Champagne Day but no, they haven't.
Think so.
It's National Coast Guard Day, and then all right, here we go. It's National Chocolate Chip Cookie Day.
That sounds good.
Today. Are y'all whipping those up on Friday still? Is there different flavors for the credit union cookies? Mm-hmm. Is that still going on?
It is. I'm not baking them because I burned them once, so I'm off cookie duty.
A couple of other things. Birthdays today. Jeff Gordon, he's went around the lap 54 times now in his life. 54 years old, Jeff Gordon. Of course, the NASCAR dude there. Former President Barack Obama, 64 today, which is that's crazy to think that he was a lot. What was he, in his 40s when he was a president? The 50s?
I don't know.
64. That's like Bill Clinton. He was the youngest president, back in the day, and now you see him on TV, and you're like, man, that dude's – is he like 80 now?
He's old.
Which is scary to think about, And then you look, and I'm not being political, but you see Trump who's almost 80, and the guy doesn't look like it. Like that dude has unlimited energy. And I'm like, how does 79, almost 80, and the guy is still just go. It's crazy to think about that. Coast Guard Day is to commemorate the founding of the United States Coast Guard. As the Revenue Marine on August the 4th, 1790. Then Secretary of the Treasury Alexander Hamilton, of course, became president. Award music-oriented prizes have been there's festivals that they have and things, but there was music-oriented prizes for participants who have the best decorated boats. So there's a boat celebration that they do for this. So I thought that was kind of neat here. Check this out. The White House has announced that construction on a massive new $200 million ballroom will begin in September, and be ready before the president's term ends in 2029. So a lot of people are saying, well, why are they spending all that money just to promote him? Well, it's not going to be done until he's pretty much out of office. So I think it's important that we continue to make the White House look nice. I mean, that's a huge part of history here in our country. The annual motorcycle rally. You ever go to the Sturgis motorcycle rally?
Never been.
You would almost seem like you would be.
I'm not a motorcycle person, though.
You'd seem like if you got Russell may get into it, and then you get into it. I could see y'all doing that.
Nah.
Wearing the
We're
vest.
Not motorcycle people.
But y'all might, and then get the tats and stuff.
Nah.
And cruise.
Not happening.
Get the vest though. It says like credit union on the back of it. Money. It'll say money lady on the back. Yeah. Well, that gets rolling. The Sturgis. South Dakota, 85 years. Check this out. Over 750,000 cyclists are expected to descend on the city this week. I knew some really good folks, friends of mine, that had went to that, and a gentleman who is a very big business mentor of mine named Bill Harris unfortunately lost his life on the way back from that. They had rode their bikes, he and his son, and I still talk to his son all the time. But Bill was, when I first started my business, I never forget, I'd go, he had a storage business in town, and this guy at the time, I believe, was in his either late 60s or 70s, but this guy was built, I mean, you wouldn't know. You'd think he was in his 30s. In fact, when they did his autopsy, they said this man had the body of a 30-year-old. But we'd always sit under a canopy at the back of that storage business. He had a little canopy set up, and he'd smoke a cigarette and fix me a sandwich. And I'd eat a sandwich, he'd smoke a cigarette, and we'd talk about business. And I'll never forget the morning that his wife, Miss Kane Harris, called me, and the words that came out of her mouth, I'll never forget. She said, "We lost Bill." And I didn't know what she meant, and then she'd explained to me that on his way back from that motorcycle rally, they were riding and some gravel was on a road and he hit a ravine and slipped into that, and
it's awful.
His hip bone, I believe, had broken and it severed a major artery and took his life. But I will say this, after his passing, Miss Harris said Bill would have been honored for you to wear his suits. And at the time I was very skinny and wasn't as tall as I am now, and she said I'd like for you to have these. Bill would be honored, and one day you'll probably be able to fit into them. And, to this day, I still have 2 of his suits that I wear.
That's neat.
And one of them, when I opened up the suit jacket, there was a horse racing ticket in there from 1972. That's how old this suit was.
Wow.
And I gave that to his son when I found it. I said, he goes, man, that's awesome. So I'll never forget about that. But that's, when I thought of Sturgis, that's what I thought of, was about Mr. Harris. Actor and Chicago Cubs fan Denzel Washington, he's going to play legendary Ernie Banks in the upcoming HBO show Bears Dynasty. So I guess they're coming up with the Chicago, something to do with Chicago and Denzel. I like Denzel Washington.
I do too. He's a very, very good actor.
I just watched Remember the Titans the other day. I needed a good inspirational movie.
I don't know if I've seen that.
It's a good one. Yeah, he's a football coach back in segregation days and helping to bring T.C. Williams High School together because they had integrated, and the football team is what brought that community together during that time. Pretty neat. Some other news this morning. We used to go. My wife and I used to go down to Lakewood in Houston, and of course that's Joel Osteen's church down there. And his daddy John Osteen. I listened to a lot of John Osteen sermons this day. His daddy passed away in 1999. But the Osteens, the media doesn't do them service. They're good people. Well, his mother, Dodie, had passed away last week at the age of 91. We called her Mama Dodie, and it didn't matter if that church was huge. Dodie wanted to get to know everybody, and we had the privilege of meeting her one time. And if you wrote her a letter, she would take the time to write you back. And she received hundreds of letters every month, and just a tremendous woman. They are going to have, and in Houston, she's very well known down in Houston. Her and her husband had started that church, Lakewood, back in the 50s in an old abandoned feed store. And it didn't grow much. He was preaching. Many folks don't know the original church was Lakewood Baptist Church. It was a Baptist church. He was preaching at a Baptist church in Houston and just had a little bit of a different theology that he wanted to preach, just about healing, which there's nothing wrong with that. And so he had left the church that he was at, founded Lakewood Baptist in this old abandoned feed store. 90 people from the original church that he was part of went with him over there, and for 10 years that church only stayed 90 people. He went to India, Karen, to preach, and he felt that the Lord had called him to go to India, and so he started hosting these crusades, massive crusades. People in India would pour out to this, and when he came back, he had a renewed sense that he had been obedient to God's calling to go to India, and that's when that church experienced massive growth.
Mm-hmm.
Just exponential growth.
I didn't know that story.
Yeah, and so he was a tremendous man. I love John, and his wife, unfortunately, passing away. And she was still doing. After COVID, she had a drive-through prayer ministry. That's how sweet this woman was. She had a heart for prayer. She'd always pray for people, no matter what. And we had when Bridget and I were going there, and we had Braylon. They did like a children's dedication, and Braylon was there, and Miss Dodie prayed over Braylon. It was the sweetest thing. And up before COVID, you could drive through your car, and she'd pray with you. After COVID, they quit doing that, and she went online and started doing it. She had an online prayer ministry. And I remember hopping, and it was a Zoom. She did it, and a guy helped her with it. And I would hop on those Zoom calls, and I'm not kidding you, there'd be 400 or 500 people on those Zoom meetings for Miss Dodie just to pray over them. That's who she was. But they will be holding her official service on Sunday down there in Houston on Friday night down in Houston at 7 p.m. Just a tremendous, tremendous woman. And I don't go down the road of thinking what you think about certain people. I want you to think and know that Dodie was just a wonderful, wonderful woman who I didn't know very well, but she made a tremendous impact on my life. And in fact, Bridget's brother-in-law's grandma just passed away about 3 or 4 months ago. We called her Nani. That was her name. And Bridget's mom called me and said, "You'll never guess who's at the service today." And I said, "Who?" And she said, "Miss Osteen is here." So her and Nani were really good friends. I mean, she just knew everybody.
Yeah.
So pretty tough news there, but she's in a better place. Justin Bieber, Karen Denman's favorite musician, Justin Bieber, listening to him at the pool this weekend, right?
Not a chance.
Well, he surprised fans by dropping his 7th studio album last Friday. You know what it's called? Swag. So there you go. Justin Bieber, Karen Denman's #1 famous artist there. Bill Gates, by the way, too. Here's something you and Russell need to invest in for the pool. It wouldn't fit in the pool. Bill Gates' yacht, it's up for sale. Take a guess of what he's selling this thing for.
No idea.
$645 million. Wow. So you can get Bill Gates' yachts. 390 foot, called Breakthrough Super Yacht. It's the world's first hydrogen fuel cell super yacht. And since he never got around to actually using it, it's got that like new feeling. So this dude purchased. Just think of, though, he's a computer nerd. Can you imagine this guy, like, you know, dressed in he's got the captain's hat on and like the little vest shirt and the shorts and sandals. I couldn't picture him on a yacht at all. But he hardly ever used it, and it's for sale. Just over $600 million, Karen. Take out a loan. Walker County can help you with
absolutely.
that. So what if somebody came in and asked you guys for a loan like that? Would you just say, see you later? Hey, if you had the paperwork to back it up, maybe, right? If Bill Gates came in and asked,
need lots of paperwork to back that up.
I would assume if Bill Gates came in and asked y'all for a loan, he'd be like, yes, sir, we'll figure out a way to make. Y'all would be like, absolutely. And then there would probably be 10 or 12 locations, you know. All right. Well, hey, a lot else going on. I wanted Karen to highlight something really important, too, with the Walker County area Go Texan. I know another big event coming up for you guys.
Yes. August 15th, which is not this Friday, but next Friday, is our reverse raffle and steak dinner. 1 ticket, get you 2 steak dinners and 1 entry into the reverse drawing. So we'll have a bake sale, not a bake sale, but a silent auction with baked goods. And so y'all come out and see us. Give me a call, or anybody on the committee can help you.
Yeah, it's the Walker County area Go Texan. A couple of weeks away, coming up right away. And I know this is a huge event. That normally sells out. Y'all are pretty packed in there when you have that event.
This one and the Crawfish Bowl always sell out. And all of these funds go directly to the youth of Walker County. All of them.
Wanted to remind you, too, coming up, and we had Brian Mathis on last Friday, but this Saturday, the poker tournament. It's the 5th annual poker tournament that is happening with the Kiwanis Club. He even brought us by every year. He brings me by a
poker chip.
Yeah, they make one every year, and Stevenson's on the back of this. Appreciate them, and this is the 5th annual Kiwanis Club poker tournament. This year it's going to be held in that back room of the fairgrounds. I think that's their meeting room or something back there. There's an official name for it. But still plenty of time for this, and you can register early. You can call Johnny Mac Armstrong at 936-714-4427. Well, in fact, that may be too late because it said through August the 31st. But I'm sure if you call him, Johnny Mac will help you anyways. But this will be Saturday, 3:30 check-in, 4:30 start time. That's it at the backside of the Walker County Fairgrounds. Follow the signs. Sam Houston Memorial Funeral Home, Cafe Texan, and Williams & Sons helping to sponsor those prizes. So a pretty cool deal, and Stevenson Distributing helping there as well. I'm gonna tell you, Karen, if people say there ain't nothing going on in Huntsville, they just ain't. They're not watching.
Not looking.
They're not watching this show, and they're not looking because we talk about this.
There's always something going on. Always.
Absolutely. Well, any final comments? I know you've been busy. Trivia is always tonight.
Oh, yep. Trivia. Come see us at 6:00 at Rodeo. Get there early. It's been pretty packed, so get there early.
It's growing. I told you, first year is always hard. Second year is even tougher. The third year, you're starting to cruise, and you guys are starting to cruise now.
Yeah.
People are starting to pull. Delphina's going to have to get a new location.
I know it. She's going to have to add on.
She's going to have to tear down that wall. She's going to have to pull a Ronald Reagan to Gorbachev and say, Mr. Contractor, tear down this wall and make room over there for you guys. Hey, well, real quick before we go, I want to remind you, go by Walker County Federal Credit Union. Take care of them. They're taking care of us on this program. And just like we had Mr. Kane on, we couldn't have guests on this show. Our website's getting more and more traffic. In fact, I posted something yesterday. If you search for virtually anything in Huntsville, our website's coming up in the top search results now on that first page on Google. We've done that intentionally with a lot of SEO behind, and I give thanks to folks like Walker County Federal Credit Union. They keep our website completely free. We don't charge anything for any content, any of the good news that we put out, and that's because of our foundation support. So please support them so that they can continue to support us and support this community and what we're doing here through Hello Huntsville. Friends, that'll wrap it up. We got a great week lined up. We'll be back tomorrow. Jason Thompson, the Thompson family at Guardian Defense at 7:30 as we continue promoting the good. Terry Coleman rejoins us here on the show, so we'll hang out with Terry tomorrow. And some opportunities this week if you'd like to be on the show. We were completely booked last week, but we do have some availability. Just text us in. You can text us at 936-339-0139 if you're a nonprofit or even a business that would like to be on the show, and we can get you plugged in as well. As I end every show reminding you this morning, we're not strong enough alone to make it on our own. We're really not. We need each other, Karen. So please provide a word of encouragement, lend a hand of support. I promise somebody out there needs you. Until then, good morning and God bless. We'll see you next time. Thank you, Karen.
Bye.